there's good news and bad news. I give you first the bad news. If you take the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, verse 8 to 12, Krishna describes what true knowledge is. And there's one part in which he says, Janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha dosha anudarshanam, which means somebody who has true knowledge is aware that life is a constant cycle of birth, death, old age, and illness, suffering. We are aware, if you have knowledge, you know that in this life there will always be some sort of suffering. This physical existence is always connected with some sort of suffering. That is knowledge. Chapter 5, verse 22, he says, the pleasures that arise from the contact with the external world are a source of suffering. They have a beginning and an end, O Arjuna, and so the wise do not rejoice in them. So everything what we do in life, this whole material existence is related to suffering. We can see that right now there's war. Well, there's always been war. Just now this war is being made very obvious to us. History is a constant repetition because life is always connected with birth, death, old age, illness, suffering, highs and lows, war and peace, etc., etc. And if we know this, then this is another bad news. Then there's the good news. There is a way to get out of this. There is a way to get out of this, and that is breaking free from that cycle, breaking free from that eternal cycle of suffering. Yeah, you can't solve the problem with another problem. If you're depressed and you start to take drugs or drinking, you might feel better, but you're just increasing the problem. You're not solving the problem. The same thing is with the suffering in this world, with the difficulties in this world. They will not be solved by anything than by spiritual enlightenment. That is the whole point. The Bhagavad Gita keeps on repeating, you have to know who you are. You have to know what the purpose of life is. Only if you know who you truly are and what the true purpose of life is, then you can attain happiness. Then you can attain fulfillment. Then you have a true solution. And if you know who you are, if you know what the purpose of life is, if you know what the only solution is, then you will do anything to attain that solution.